Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? So today I'm actually gonna do a wearable look. I've been playing with so many colors recently and I thought I should probably do a wearable look to mix it up a little. So and also one of my friends asked me to do a wearable look. Her name's Zia, so hey Zia, shout out. This one's for you. So today is Saturday and hopefully I'll be able to put this video up tonight or tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. And it's just been like really hot here in Manila, in the Philippines generally. I mean, it's always hot here, but because it is leaning towards summer, it's just been like really hot. So I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to keep your makeup or make it last a little longer in hot, humid weather. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm just gonna put a headband on so we can work on our face without our hair interfering. So I'm gonna start off with my eyes today. I just think if you want your base to last really long, just start off with the eyes. That way later on you won't be like leaning on your face and like putting heat on it. So I just think it'll last longer. So I'm gonna start off with my eyes, just putting some concealer on just to start off, because my eyes, they're actually quite, they're pigmented. I mean, I have dark eyelids and dark under eyes, so this is gonna help out, even that up, so that all the shades that we're gonna put, or the eyeshadows that we're gonna put later on, it'll be true to its color. Alright, so this time I am gonna set this base, the concealer that we put on, because I'm not going to work with too many, I mean like vivid colors, so I am going to set it and it'll help just prolong the eyeshadow. So I'm going to take a damp sponge and set that with some loose setting powder. So the powder that I'm using is the Airspun loose powder in extra coverage. So before I set it, I'm just gonna tap it over with my finger just to make sure there isn't any creasing, and then look down and then tap the powder on top. If you set, or if you put powder on it with the creasing, then the creasing will just be there, which really irritates me. So make sure you like run through your finger there and then just set it. We don't want to set any creasing. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm gonna take my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. It's my favorite palette, as many of you know. I'm gonna start off with this shade right here. So any like brownish shade that you have, you can actually also use your bronzer. That would work just as fine. So I'm taking that shade and placing it on my brush, just the fluffy brush, and working that all over my crease. So this is gonna be our transition shade. So I'm doing windshield wiper motions and little like circle motions. Okay, so we have that all over the crease. Now I'm going to pick up this shade right here, so just a little bit of a darker shade, and work that below my crease, below the first shade that we used, but just halfway. So let me just show you. So I'm going to take the same brush and then just tap it out here, and little circle motions just out here, and then I'm going to sweep it across as well, but not as high as the first shade that we used. So picking up some more, tapping it on, and then just blending it in. So as you can see, it's not making much of a difference, but it will make sense because we want to go from the lightest to the darkest shade. It just adds dimension to the look. I just like doing this. I think it'll look like more blown out. So yeah, just keep doing that, tapping it on and then blending it in. Okay, so now I'm gonna take an even darker brown shade. I actually, let me see, I think I'm gonna use this one right here. Yeah, okay, so yeah, let's use that right here, and with the same brush, just tapping that in, I'm gonna do actually the same thing. So same brush, tapping it in, and I'm gonna put that, place that right out here. So tapping it in first to place the color, and then just blending it. Now I'm not gonna blend it all the way to my the inner part of my lid. I'm concentrating the shade just out here. That way it'll just add dimension to our eyes and lift this part just a tad bit. Okay, so now we have, you'll have something like this. So I'm just gonna take that brush, I wiped it off on a tissue, and just blend with a very light hand on my crease. Okay, now I'm gonna take a shimmer color on my eyelids. Let me just think of what color I'm gonna use. Okay, so I'm taking this shade right here. I swatched it on the back of my hand, and that's what it looks like. So it kind of has like a pink, a little bit of a pink reflect to it. So I'm taking that shade just with my finger and placing that on my lid. Yeah, I like that a lot. So not having long nails really helps with my makeup application, because I can do this. And honestly, when you're putting shimmer on your lids, I just think that using your finger is the best way to do it. It just lays the product down so much better. I mean, you can take like a flat synthetic brush to do this, but I just really prefer using my finger. So yeah, I will blend that out in a little bit. So what I'm doing is actually just placing the color, and then when I get to my crease, I just I actually blend it a little using my finger, just back and forth motions. Okay, so you should have something that looks like that. And then I'm going to take this shade right here, that one right there, and I'm gonna blend that on the outer corner more, just placing the color right there. Don't go too crazy with it, and just do like little circle motions. So same on the other eye, placing the color right there, and little circle motions. So I'm trying to use the same brush, because you can totally do that. You just sometimes like need to wipe it off on a tissue. So just using the same brush for almost like the whole eye look. And I absolutely love that, because I don't like washing brushes. It's like so tedious doing that. Okay, so we have that. Now I'm going to take more of that shimmer shade, and just blending it out here. So where I place the dark color, with a very, very light touch, I'm just blending that. So the transition from that dark shade to the shimmer shade is just softer. And then going over, sorry, let me just blend this one out a little bit more. Okay, and then going over with the fluffy brush and just blending that out a little bit more here, so that there's like a nice, there's no harsh line between that shimmer and that dark brown shade that we put down. Okay, now I'm gonna take the first shade that I used, which was this one, and blend that through my crease, again using the same brush. Just blend that through here. Same on the other eye. Okay. So that's actually pretty much the eyes done. Now I'm gonna move on to the base. So I'm taking my Rimmel Stay Matte mattifying primer. I'm just spreading that all over my face. So it depends on what skin type you are. I'm actually, my skin's pretty oily, so I use a mattifying primer. But if you have dry skin, you can actually just use something more moisturizing. Actually, a moisturizer would do very well for dry skin. But my skin is really oily, so I use a mattifying one. So just all over, and then we'll move on to foundation. Okay, so I gave that a minute to sink in. Now I am moving on with foundation. Now the foundation that I use is actually, the one that I'm using now is a Makeup Forever foundation. I honestly forgot the name because I have it in a little pot. So I'll have that listed down below for you, and also the shade. So just putting that all over my face. Now the last video that I did, I didn't have this foundation yet, so I didn't have a darker shade. The foundation that I used in my last video was pretty light, and I think this one will match me so much better. Okay, so now that we have that, so I'm just gonna take my beauty sponge, which I need a new one, and blend that in. Now I don't put any foundation on my nose and upper lip. I don't put any liquid foundation there because I get like really sweaty in that area. No matter what primer I use, I just get really sweaty there, and the makeup just rubs off. So I do not use a liquid foundation in that part, but I do use a powder foundation, which I will show you later on. So just blending this in with my sponge. So yeah, I think that matches me so much better than the first one that I used. It's still a little lighter than my chest, but that's okay because we're gonna put bronzer on anyway, and that's gonna balance everything out. So I'm gonna put some concealer under my eyes using the Maybelline Master Conceal in the shade Light Medium, just on my eyes. And then I will, on top of this, I'm gonna put some what's this, Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Medium, because this concealer right here is like too light for me, and the shade Medium of Colourpop is too dark. So I just mix the two together so I have a shade that I want. So going in with the Colourpop one, I just use a little bit of this, not as much as the lighter shade. And then I'm gonna take my sponge, the one that I used earlier, so just the side that does not have powder on it, and I'm going to blend my concealer out. my nose is looking like so red compared to my face, but we'll balance that out later on. Okay, so now that I'm done blending my concealer, I don't want to set the creasing. I have so much creasing underneath my eyes, so I'm just gonna run through with the sponge, try not to move my eyes, and then grab some powder. I know I make this funny face because I don't want to set the creasing. So same on the other side. I know that looks so crazy, but we're gonna brush that off later. Now I'm gonna take my Maybelline, what is this, Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade Medium, and my damp sponge. I'm just taking like the flat side of the sponge and dipping that into the powder, and this is what I'm gonna use to set my face. Now I do this because it just helps it sink into the skin. That way your foundation lasts so much longer. I mean, your base lasts so much longer if you set your foundation like this. So grabbing some more, and I use a lot. I use a lot of powder, but I will just go through with a brush later just to brush off like a lot of the excess powder that we have on there. Also, I did not use my Airspun because that has flashback. So, depends on where you're going, but just in case I'll be taking pictures using flash, it's just safe not to use a powder that has flashback. So just keep dabbing that in until it's all synced into the skin. And then I'm taking my brush and then just lightly, very lightly going over that, just to take away some of the excess powder, and also my under eyes, because we baked my under eyes. Okay, so I'm gonna take my bronzer. It's the Morphe Debutante, and then just bronze my face up. So just placing bronzer in the usual places, above the cheekbone, right here on the jawline, just to balance that out and just to make it look like I actually have a jawline and a cheekbone. And on my temples, just to make sure, I mean, everywhere that the sun naturally hits you, that's where you're gonna put your bronzer on. Now the sun doesn't really hit you over here, but I just, because this can double up as a contour as well, the shade that I'm using, so I just put that there also as a contour. So you can definitely see the difference of this side. I'm gonna clean that up later on. And this side of the face. This is like super flat. This has more dimension. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm gonna take my sponge and this like flat side, and I'm gonna clean up underneath my cheekbones. So just right here. Same on the other side. So just so the bronzer isn't too low, because if you keep it too low, then it's gonna look like I have no cheekbones. And it looks kind of muddy and dirty if it's like too low. So just baking this part. Okay, so while that's sitting on there, I'm gonna do my brows, but I will do them off of camera because they just take forever. If I do them on camera, I'll get like really conscious. So yeah, I'm gonna do them off of camera, and I'm actually using the the brow product that I mentioned in my last like a way long ago video, which is the DAISO one. You can buy it at DAISO here in the Philippines. It's actually 88 pesos. So it has a spoolie on the end, and it's a wind up one, so it's kind of shaped like the Anastasia brow definer, brow wiz. I'm not quite sure, but that's the shape that it has. So yeah, I'm gonna do that off of camera and I will be right back. Okay, so brows are on. This eyebrow is always the one that gives me problems, is because it has a scar right there, so the tail, it just always gets funky. And this eyebrow, I have like a scar right here from when I got chickenpox as a kid, so I covered that up. This eyebrow is good to me. She just has her own mind, she does her own thing, so yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to my Jaclyn Hill palette, and we're gonna work with the under eyes now. I'm actually just probably gonna take two shades. So I'm gonna grab this. No, actually, yeah, okay. So let me grab this shade right here, with a pencil brush, and I'm gonna smudge that underneath, right there, tapping off the excess. Just going halfway. I don't like to go all the way in because I just think it makes my eyes look heavy, so I just do halfway, and it just adds more character, more dimension to the eye. Okay, so I just tight lined my upper waterline on this eye. You can see it's kind of red because I do have quite sensitive eyes, but anyway, I just want you to see the difference of this eye and this eye. This eye, it looks like my lashes are so much more, they're like fuller, even though I don't have any mascara on yet, but this eye is like meh. So yeah, that's why I always like to tight line my upper waterline. Alright, so I added some top and bottom mascara on my eyes, and now I'm just brushing off the bake that we did earlier, just spreading it a little across my chin and the middle of my eyebrows, just in case I get shiny. Okay, now let's move on to highlighter. I am going to take this Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Yummy Cookies. So this one right here, it's actually part of the Hello Kitty collection that they did. If you know me personally, you know that I love Hello Kitty, so I had to buy that collection. But that was like way long ago, probably like 2 years. Oh no, a year ago maybe was when they put out that collection. Okay, so I'm going to take that just on a brush and apply that on my cheeks. Oh, that's a little too intense. Let me just relax, chill here, Faye. Okay, spread that out with my finger. I think I grabbed way too much on my brush. Yeah, okay. Let's put some more and use my finger to blend that out. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna take some on my pinky finger and just press that as my inner corner highlight. So just using the same highlight, the Colourpop one that I used on the cheeks. Wow, look at that. Okay. That way everything's cohesive. I know I'm going everywhere with this, but yeah, sometimes I switch it up, like the order I do my makeup, sometimes I switch it up. So now I'm gonna take some blush, and I'm gonna pick up, so this is like the BH Cosmetics Glamorous blush 10 color blush palette, and picking up this shade down here mixed with some of this here. So just mixing those two together on my brush and putting that across my cheek. So this is actually, I think it's gonna help out blend out that highlight shade that we put on earlier. So that's why sometimes I like doing this. I like doing blush after highlight. Okay, so for the lips, I'm taking the NARS lip stain pencil in the shade Rikugien. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but I'll have all the products listed down below. So just gonna apply some of that. Yeah, I love this shade. Alright, and the last step is the setting spray. Now, because I have oily skin, I go for a matte setting spray. So I'm using the NYX matte finish long-lasting setting spray. So this is what I'll use. So just about like arm's length. And you just let that sit in, soak into the skin. Oh, I did forget to mention that before I did that, I put powder foundation on my nose and upper lip, and then I did the spray. Alright, so that's pretty much the finished look. You could actually pair this with any lip color that you want. I just ended up doing this lip color, and I know it's a lot of makeup for an everyday thing, but if you have like a work event, or if you just really want to feel a little bit glam at work or at school, in college, if your college allows you to wear makeup, then yeah, this one's pretty easy. The eye look is pretty easy. I just added on the base just to give you an idea of what I do to keep my base looking good for the whole day in hot, humid weather. So yeah, hope you guys had fun watching this tutorial with me, and make sure to like and subscribe and share, and comment down below what you guys think and what do you want to see next from my channel. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I love you. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are, and have a good one. Bye!